Hey, it's Scott from theproductionacademy.com. In case you missed my video last week, I was talking about this kind of crazy thing I did this past weekend. One of the more difficult things I've had to do in my live sound career. I was mixing a band for the very first time. I'd never mixed them before. We were headlining a festival and we had no sound check. So it was kind of intense. It was pretty difficult, but I want to tell you about the method that I had come up with to try to make the most out of it, and then also what actually happened. It went great. Spoiler alert, but I want to just talk through the process, and I took some video there at the festival, so I'll share that with you here in just a second too. So I was mixing a band called Portugal the Man. They're a rock band, which is good for me. That's kind of like my wheelhouse. I'm good at mixing rock bands. But since I had never mixed them before, I had done a lot of prep work with Dave, their normal front of house engineer. So he had sent me some tracks from a previous show that I was going to use using Virtual Soundcheck. He sent me his file, his show file on the Digico SD10, which was the console we ended up using, and then also a file for all the Waves plugins that he uses on an external Waves server. So going in with all of that, my plan was to show up there at the festival, load up the file, load up the multi-track file on a separate computer to run Virtual Soundcheck, and just kind of prep everything and make sure it was solid before the actual show started. So that was the plan. We got there. There were some technical difficulties in getting this stuff set up and communicating. That happens from time to time. But one thing we didn't have time to sort out is the actual whole Virtual Soundcheck thing. We had a separate computer. We had a MADI interface to interface with the console. And once everything was up and going, we were playing back, trying to get him to talk. And time was getting tight, as it does during live shows. But time was getting tight, and we didn't actually have time to sort out the issues with the MADI interface. So I was trying to get it going, and then we had to get into a line check. We were just testing the lines, making sure that the kick drum channel was going to the kick drum channel, and the snare drum mic was going to the snare drum channel, etc. We had to go through about 35 channels to make sure everything was patched correctly, and just ran out of time to get the Virtual Soundcheck done. So we ended up going without that, which is fine. At least we still had the file, Dave's file, and the Waves plugins to get most of the way there. So as we're going through the line check, I was changing some EQs because there's different backline, different instruments on stage than the band usually uses. It was rented, so kind of had to go through and listen to those instruments that we actually had there that day, and tweak some EQs, tweak some gains, and then we were kind of ready to go for the show. So it all went great. It was honestly one of the more difficult things I've ever had to do, especially with zero sound check. Even getting like a 20-minute sound check would have been so helpful, but we didn't have it, so we just kind of had to wing it and go for it. The band's manager was there, their production manager, and everyone was pleased. Everyone was happy because we actually pulled it off. And given the situation, how difficult it was, I think everybody was pretty understanding and happy with the result. Of course, as many sound engineers, you kind of want it to be perfect. You're sitting there mixing the show. You want it to be absolutely perfect mix. It wasn't perfect, and that's totally fine. I was quickly fixing any problems that came down. If one of the guitars had jumped up too much, I was quick to move it around. It's not quite as slick as some of the mixes that I have going with my bands, what I've worked for hundreds of shows where I really know every little piece, every little bit of the songs that's going to be coming my way, and really have a handle on exactly where everything fits into the mix. This was a little more, even though Dave's file and mix is really good, I still had to scramble a little bit to make sure that it was all sounding good on that day, like for that show. So I'm happy that it went well. It could have been, those sorts of situations can be total disaster. So at least it went well, and everyone was happy, and I'm glad that it's over and that it went so well. So I did take some video of the setup that we were using at the festival. I'm going to play that for you right now, and then I'll talk to you right after. All right, here we are. We just finished up a line check.
This was the computer that was supposed to be the playback, but we had some issues with the MADI interface and ran out of time and couldn't quite figure it out. So we're going to go without virtual sound check, which is fine. We'll still get the show done here. But we did get this SD10 up and going. Here's the computer screen for the Wave server. And then the actual Wave server and the computer it uses is down here. There's the computer, the Think Center up on the left that's running the plugins, and then the server does all the processing for all the Waves plugins. So we're looking pretty good. We did a line check. We've heard all the instruments coming off stage, and we're ready to go for tomorrow. We're gonna shut down, and then Ziggy Marley's gonna come in the morning and do a line check for their show. They're on right before us, and we'll fire this all back up and be ready to go for our set tomorrow evening. So we'll see how it goes. First time mixing the band. I'm sure it'll be fine though. The other bands here on the stage are actually going to be using this this other console, this Avid Profile, provided here by Dave. Here's the with the audio company. It's been super nice, super helpful. Really appreciate it, Dave. Thank you. So we'll have this console to ourselves tomorrow, and everyone else will be using the Avid Profile.
So you can see our whole setup there, including the laptop that we were supposed to use for virtual sound check. Even though we ran out of time and couldn't quite get it going, the show still turned out great, and I really had a lot of fun doing it. You know, filling in for other engineers like this is something I get to do from time to time as a freelance engineer, and I really have fun doing it. I've got to mix a lot of great bands like this for just one-offs or short tours, like this band Portugal the Man, or Foster the People, or Death Cab for Cutie, or Lizzo, or Nas. You know, mixing these artists has been really fun, even though I haven't done full tours with them. It's been good to get the experience of mixing all these really cool artists. And since I have done a lot of this type of work, I have gotten a lot faster at it. And that's something that comes with a lot of experience, and mixing a lot of shows, you just become quicker and quicker and quicker. So being able to pull this type of thing off gets easier with experience for sure. So coming up next week, I'm going to start sending you some videos from the road. I'm about to go out on tour with the comedian Fred Armisen, doing a comedy tour, which is really fun. That's not something that I get to do that often, so it'll be different. With this type of thing, it doesn't really make sense to carry a console or carry audio gear with us, so I'm going to be using the house systems in all the clubs we go to. So it'll be fun to share with you the different consoles I see and the different PA systems I see. And if there's anything specific you want to know, just email me at scott@theproductionacademy.com, or put a comment below this video. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so by hitting the subscribe button right below this video. It really helps us out, and it gets you the content I post right away. But until then, I hope you have a good weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.